going to see a lot of action. I'm not going to stop for 15 minutes. I will be very hungry to win this fight.
I owe it to the fans to give them a great fight. Not just a great fight, but the best fight of the night.
All my fights I want to win. I'm a winner. And I'm going to win my next fight. And at this time is Verdun, even better.
We're both extremely well prepared. And if it's up to me, this fight's not going past the first round.
I only want to be known as the best ever. Is that too much to ask?
I think he's fought some of the best people in the world, and that's given him some confidence. And that's what I'm going to have to break.
Wrong time to fight BJ Penn right now.
At the end, my job's going to be done, and I know I'm going to give it everything I got, and I know my hand to be raised.
Now I train like a champion. I live like a champion. Now I deserve to have that title.
Welcome to the fighting city of Newcastle, England, and welcome inside the sold-out Metro Radio Arena as we are set for UFC 80 Rapid Fire. This is the only place to be today. These fans are fired up to have the UFC in their great town. Hi again, everybody. I'm Mike Goldberg. Welcome once again to the Ultimate Fighting Championship. In 2001, the Prodigy first entered the octagon, and at that time everybody knew that BJ Penn was destined to be a world champion. In 2004 he defeated Matt Hughes to win the welterweight title, and now tonight he will attempt to become only the second man in UFC history to hold a championship in 2 different weight classes. My partner is always Joe Rogan. First and foremost, how great is it to be back here in the UK?
Yeah, these fans are insane. I mean, this is probably one of the most excited crowds we could ever come in front of. UK fans are always awesome.
At 155 pounds, in shape and motivated, Dana White has said BJ Penn is the most dangerous fighter in the world.
Well, he's one of the most talented mixed martial arts guys ever. But with talent, a lot of times comes laziness. And BJ himself has admitted in the past that he has been lazy in his approach to MMA, but not anymore. BJ is training now like he's never trained before. He's got unbelievable skills in so many different areas. You're talking about a guy who won the World Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Championships after only 3 years of training. But Joe Stevenson is no slouch of his own. He's got excellent wrestling. He's got fantastic submissions, leg locks, guillotines. He's a tough guy, and he's been fighting a long time. He's only 25 years old, but he's competing against grown men when he was 16. He's a very solid fighter and a real test for BJ Penn.
Joe Stevenson, the welterweight winner of the Ultimate Fighter, as a member of Team Hughes trying to make history, becoming the first Ultimate Fighter to wear a UFC championship belt. And since moving to 155 pounds, he's 4-0, and he has been unbelievable.
Well, that is his weight class. He is very solid at that weight. And like I said, if he gets a hold of something, he can submit anyone. But will he be able to get a hold? Will BJ allow him to get into that that position. What Joe has got for him, he's been training for 9 weeks at Big Bear. He's in phenomenal condition, and if there's ever been a knock on BJ, it's been his cardio. You know, Joe Stevenson has great cardio, and his best chance in this fight, in my opinion, is if he can drag into the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds.
We will see. It is a championship fight. Also tonight in the UK, Gabriel Gonzaga is back, and we all remember what he did last time when he faced off against Mirko Krokow.
Gabriel Gonzaga, one of the top heavyweights in the world, a huge guy with big power in his kicks and punches. He's got excellent Muay Thai and world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he's taking on another world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitor in Fabricio Verdum, a man with international experience and octagon experience.
Also a great matchup in the light heavyweight division.
Jason the Punisher Lambert, an excellent ground and pound specialist, coming off a vicious knockout victory over Renato Babalu Sobral, takes on a very tough challenger in Wilson Gouveia. Wilson Gouveia has excellent Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and trains an American top team, one of the best camps in the country.
Our ways to win inside the octagon. 3 judges score the bout. The bout duration 3 5-minute rounds. Our championship fight tonight is scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds. Once again, a 10-point must scoring system is in effect, with the round winner gaining 10 points, his opponent 9 or less, based on effective striking, grappling, aggression, and octagon control. Tonight's UFC 80 Rapid Fire from Newcastle, England is available in high definition. We begin tonight in the middleweight division with another very talented Hawaiian. Ultimate Fighter 3 winner Kendall faces El Conquistador Jorge Rivera, who returns to the octagon for the first time in nearly a year. The Ultimate Fighter reality show launched the career of Kendall Grove and saved the career of Jorge Rivera. Now they meet at the crossroads in what may very well be the most important fight of their mixed martial arts careers.
Every time I step into the cage, it's the biggest fight of my career. I take every fight like he's the champ, and every fight like it's gonna be my last fight.
A diehard member of the Red Sox Nation, Massachusetts Rivera has survived ups and downs and is still standing and swinging for the fences. Winner of 5 of his last 7 bouts, El Conquistador has faced the best over the course of his 6-year career.
You know, he's got a bright future ahead of him. Come on out with me. And hopefully I catch him with a good right hand or a left hook and put him flat on his ass.
Before his stint on season 3 of The Ultimate Fighter, Kendall Grove was viewed as a talented but erratic fighter. Yet after 6 weeks on the show, which he won by defeating Ed Herman, the Spider was a new man in and out of the octagon. Victories over Chris Price and Alan Belcher followed his Ultimate Fighter win, and he was rapidly moving up the 185-pound rankings until he was defeated by Patrick Cote, moving him downward on the middleweight ladder.
I was climbing it, and I got kicked off. So here I go, back at the bottom, start climbing again. This fight right here is kind of make it or break it for me.
Make it or break it as well for Jorge Rivera. Rivera had his jaw broken by Terry Martin his last UFC appearance, UFC 67. He's got to plate the jaw. I mean, it was badly broken. And Mark Delagrati says, though, Jorge Rivera is back. He is ready. He's got some butterflies, justifiably so. So look for him, perhaps, Joe, to try to finish this fight as quickly as possible.
Well, it's going to be very difficult. Kendall Grove is a very tough competitor. Jorge has had some ups and downs. He's a very talented fighter, but he has been hurt a few times in the UFC by Chris Lieben, by Terry Martin. The Terry Martin knockout was, Terry Martin has big power in his punches, and he caught him on the button, and that's just the way it goes. He is a very talented striker, though. Mark Delagrati at Sitgo Dong has been training with him for years. He's got a lot of experience in the octagon. He's a very calm competitor, and this is very much a make it or break it fight for him. He seems he's very excited. He knows it's an important fight for him.
Just had a new baby, has his own mixed martial arts school up in Milford, Massachusetts. He had competed at 205. He's talked about wanting to be a role model. He also said that while he understands there's a huge mental obstacle to overcome, that he believes the best Jorge Rivera has yet to be shown inside the UFC.
Well, you know, he's 35 years old, and, you know, ordinarily would say, well, you know, his best days are behind him. But then you look at a guy like Randy Couture, who, you know, came back in his 40s and had the best performances of his life. So it's, you know, it's tough to say. With fighters, it's all mental. They live and die in their own mind. And if Jorge can get back to the days of his old, where he was a berserker, where he was a young, tough, exciting, aggressive fighter, if he can bring back that kind of energy, you know, we can see a resurrection in his career.
Jorge Rivera back inside the octagon for the first time in 11 months. Taking on to Spider, the Ultimate Fighter 3 winner, a member of Team Ortiz. Tito felt like at that point that Kendall Grove was kind of a new little brother. He took him up to Big Bear, he got him ready for Ed Herman, and then he beat Chris Price, and then he beat Alan Belcher, and then, here came another Mark Delagrati trained fighter in Patrick Cote, and as Kendall said, I got knocked off the ladder, now I got to climb back up.
Well, you know, Patrick Cote, if he catches anybody on the draw, they're going. He's got big power as well. You know, both these gentlemen are both coming off of knockout losses, and it's very interesting to see what happens to guys when they have been knocked off that ladder. What Kendall learned from Team Punishment, from Tito Ortiz, and from his stint on the Ultimate Fighter, and what he's told me is that cardio is everything. And that's what Kendall Grove really brings to the fight. Besides the fact that he's got awesome jiu-jitsu. I mean, he's got some of the best Darce chokes. He's got fantastic chokes, some of the best in the game. But what he really brings is a relentless pace that very few people can keep up with. And he put that pace on Alan Belcher, he put that pace on a lot of guys. And, you know, you can see him right now, he's in excellent condition. He's lean, he looks to be trained very well for this fight, and mentally, if he's over his last fight and he's prepared and he thinks that he can, you know, just steamroll over Jorge Rivera the way he has over previous opponents, we can see a great performance from Kendall tonight.
Rude Boy Troy Mandolinas also in his corner tonight, longtime friend of Kendall's, and of course BJ Penn, who will fight later tonight. Kendall training in Las Vegas, but born and raised in Maui, Hawaii. His father's here. He said the one thing he learned from the loss is that a lot of his so-called friends weren't really his friends. And he said the one thing they benefited from, he got rid of all the negativity, all the interruptions, all the disturbances in his life, and he is focused for his future.
Well, you know, it's difficult. I mean, he's from Maui, but he spends a lot of time in Vegas, and you know what that's like.
I do as well. And
a lot of fake everything in Vegas.
You got that right. Our tale of the tape for this, our first fight of the night, UFC 80 Rapid Fire, Newcastle, England. In the middleweight division, Jorge Rivera, Kendall Grove. Grove, 25 years old, 10 years younger than El Conquistador. 5 inches taller, he will enjoy a 6-inch reach advantage. Grove at 13.3 stone, Rivera at 13.2 stone yesterday at the official weigh-ins. To officially get this one underway, the veteran voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Metro Radio Arena in Newcastle, England for UFC 80. And now, it's time to begin our first bout of the evening. 3 rounds of fighting in the UFC middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record of 14 wins with 6 losses. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in 185 pounds, 13.2 stone. Fighting out of Milford, Massachusetts, Jorge El Conquistador Rivera! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist holding a professional record of 10 wins with 4 losses. He stands 6 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 186 pounds, 13.3 stone. Fighting out of Maui, Hawaii, Kendall the Spider Grove! And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the Octagon is Dan Mergliata.
Dan Mergliata, our referee for this middleweight fight. The beautiful Edith Ariani here tonight in the sold-out Metro Radio Arena Newcastle, England. Fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds.
Are you ready? Kenny, ready? Let's go fight.
UFC 80 is underway. Rivera.
Both these guys look in great shape, especially Jorge. I mean, he's shredded.
Marcus Davis, his teammate, training partner who will fight here tonight, Joe, said Jorge really looked good during training. He goes for the early takedown.
He's got to be careful. Kendall is very dangerous off his back. He's got great sweeps.
And with those long limbs, he is able to lock in some things that others can't.
Yeah, and great leverage, especially chokes. His long limbs really help him in the top position. Darce chokes. He can slide his arms through and clasp his hands together in a lot of places shorter arm guys just can't.
You know what, interestingly, psychologically, Rivera with an early takedown, a little bit of a ground game.
Rivera's landed some big right hands.
And this could cause him, Joe, to gain a lot of confidence early in the fight and kind of wipe away that fear of what happened last time to Terry Martin.
Yeah, it can, and with Kendall, it could also bring up some memories of Patrick Cote.
Good point. Mark Delagrati told me coming into this fight, they feel like they have the game plan because, as you mentioned, Cote was able to overwhelm Grove.
Jorge is landing some shots.
Rivera really taking it to Kendall.
Kendall is in trouble. His legs are buckling.
Grove is in huge trouble. Kendall Grove is down. And it is all over. Jorge Rivera wins.
Jorge is back. Wow. That is a big, big win for Jorge. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Aggressive, took it to Kendall. Big, big punches from Jorge Rivera. Kendall Grove.
I told you stay in his face, kid.
Wow.
Come on. Hey,
that is a huge victory for Jorge Rivera. Kendall Grove, highly touted. Now, Jorge's just all over him, relentless with these punches. Kendall just looking for his opportunity to get out of there, but Jorge kept punching. Bang! That left was what did it. Kendall's just out. Let's take another look at this again. Here it is in real time. Jorge just relentless. Huge, huge victory for Jorge Rivera and a resurrection of his career.
Well, perhaps that is Jorge Rivera showing the best of himself inside the octagon. Kendall Grove defeated quickly. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Dan Mergliata has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute 20 seconds in the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO, Jorge El Conquistador Rivera.
Delagrati told him to stay in his face. He did, and he finished it quickly.
All right, I'm here with a very happy Jorge Rivera. Jorge, we haven't seen you come out that aggressive in a long time. That's got to feel good to get this big victory over Kendall Grove.
Thank you, sweet Jesus. You're the way and the truth. Yeah, absolutely. I felt the way to beat Kendall was stay in his face, put the pressure on him. I want to say what up to Benny and Jake Robbins, Luciano Quagliaroli, who's in Boston right now fighting leukemia. Dougie, I love you, baby. What up?
All right, Jorge, take a look at the big screen and talk us through some of the action here. You heard him early and often in this fight.
I felt I hurt him with the very first punch. I felt his knees buckle, and he just didn't feel very strong to me, you know. And he wasn't moving as much on the ground. I expected him to be moving a lot more. And once I could stabilize my position on the ground, I knew he was in trouble. I want to say a big what up to Tim Burrow, Mark Delagrati, everybody over at Sit Yard Tong, Sean Flanagan, Tim Burrow Jiu-Jitsu, 862 Charles Street, USMMA 316, Hartford Ave, Bellingham, Sit Yard Tong, 100 Broadway, Somerville. What up, Doug Calenda, who couldn't be here, who's always in my corner. Dougie, I love you, baby. I want to say what's up to my mom and dad, who I love dearly beyond words. Stacy Cook, I'm coming home, baby.
Jorge, congratulations. Huge victory for you, a resurrection of your career. We look forward to seeing you again. Jorge Rivera, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, that was a lot of addresses Jorge Rivera delivered in a short amount of time. He delivered big punishment tonight to Grove and earns the win. It is our main event of the evening for the UFC lightweight title. As former welterweight champion, BJ the Prodigy Penn takes on the winner of The Ultimate Fighter 2, Joe Daddy Stevenson. Earlier tonight, the Prodigy, BJ Penn, arrived here at Metro Radio Arena in Newcastle, England, as did Joe Daddy Stevenson. Stevenson tonight, hoping to become a UFC world champion. So that is our main event tonight here in Newcastle. And in just 2 weeks, we are back in Las Vegas.
What would happen if one of the world's greatest wrestlers stepped out of the ring and into the octagon? On Saturday, February 2nd, the world will find out as wrestling superstar Brock Lesnar breaks into the UFC.
This is the place to be. This is where all the top fighters are.
Brock Lesnar is 4-time All-American National Collegiate Champion. This guy is for real.
Against former UFC heavyweight champion Frank Mir.
Frank Mir's submissions are unbelievable. This is the guy that broke Tim Sylvia's forearm in half.
He broke Tim Sylvia's arm. Who cares? I'm coming to this fight to win.
Once we're on the ground, now we're talking about chokes and arm bars and make the fight end in a submission.
It's Lesnar versus Mir.
Stylistically, this is a great fight.
This is as real as it gets. The Ultimate Fighting Championship presents UFC 81 Breaking Point. Live Saturday, February 2nd from the Mandalay Bay Event Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. Only on pay-per-view.
So Brock Lesnar set to make his UFC debut, and this month Lesnar graces the cover of Muscle and Fitness magazine. Available on newsstands now. There's a feature article that talks about the NCAA Division I wrestling champion who now looks to win for the first time ever inside the octagon. Muscle and Fitness, available now. A great start to tonight's UFC 80 Rapid Fire from Newcastle, England. Now let's move to the light heavyweight division. Jason Lambert validated his status as a true contender at 205 when he punished Babalu with a vicious left hook. Tonight he finally faces Wilson Gouveia, the talented Brazilian many consider just a diamond in the rough. Wilson Gouveia and Jason Lambert have battled successfully on the fringe of the top 10 rankings, with 7 impressive UFC wins between them. Tonight, one of these light heavyweights will make the move from prospect to contender.
205 is way open, and everyone wants their spot. Each fight, especially now, is a huge fight.
This fight is very important for both of us because, who wins the fight is gonna, is gonna consolidate the position and one of the top 5 in the UFC for sure.
Wilson Gouveia has been around the mixed martial arts block a few times in his career, fighting everyone from John Fitch to Keith Jardine. But through it all, Gouveia kept his eyes on the prize, knowing that his day would eventually come. The ever-improving Gouveia has a big opportunity tonight to move up the rankings as he takes on Jason Lambert.
Nobody's gonna knock me out. I'm gonna knock people out. And Jason Lambert, I know, is a step out in the competition for me, but he's not gonna be able to hit my face. My face is gonna be like this after the fight. Very nice.
Lambert has lived up to his nickname of the Punisher over the course of his UFC career, but it wasn't until his spectacular knockout of Babalu Soul Brawl that Lambert's name started popping up in the talk of the light heavyweight title picture.
When Wilson and I get in there, it's going to be fireworks. My pressure game is always forward, and I'm looking to end this as quickly as possible.
This fight was supposed to happen a few UFCs ago. Gouveia unfortunately was injured. Doesn't matter. Now is the time. They will battle tonight. Born in Fortaleza, Brazil, fighting with American top team. You see Dan Lambert behind him. Coconut Creek, Florida, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who really thinks that, Chuck Liddell is in his future, and Pete Jardini fought to a very close decision. He believes his future is one that will include a run at the light heavyweight title.
He's a very solid fighter, and really in all areas, Mike. His jiu-jitsu is excellent. His kickboxing is excellent. And the man who just took his hat off, Dan Lambert, you alluded to earlier, that's the mastermind behind American Top Team, the guy who put that whole team together. And he's got, with American Top Team, he's got the best camp in the country. So many tough fighters there, so many good guys to train with, and he's been constantly in that den of animals, competing against each other, and he's really coming along in the ring.
And many of the insiders in American Top Team will tell you, in that den of animals, they believe, many, that Wilson Gouveia may just be purely the best fighter in their camp today, and that's his teammates and his coaches making that assessment.
Well, he has massive potential, and we've seen that potential over and over again. It's just a matter of realizing it in the octagon.
Yeah.
It's so many areas he's so solid in.
Heavy-handed, likes to strike. A black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, as I mentioned. See if he looks for a head kick. See what happens. As he finally will face off against Jason Lambert. He had suffered a broken nose prior to the first scheduled matchup. And so the fight happens here tonight in Newcastle. Funny how blasting through Jason Lambert will define you as one of the finest cage fighters, if you will, and one of the finest members of the light heavyweight division, because Jason Lambert was the guy who worked at the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. He beat Rob McDonald. That was cool. Terry Martin, pretty awesome. And then Brandon Lee Hinkle. Then he lost to Rashad Evans, and you go, all right, well, what's Lambert the Punisher going to be about? Well, we saw it with the left hook at the midway point of the first round in Columbus, Ohio against Babalu.
Well, that was his last fight, so he's riding high on that victory. Babalu was a highly rated fighter at that time. And, you know, it was a big knockout win for him. Jason Lambert has really good ground and pound, like some of the best in the division. He's got very good Kimuras, great submissions, good control on the ground, and good power and punches in his hands. It's just, against Wilson Gouveia, Wilson Gouveia has, in my opinion, the more technical stand-up game. He's got the more technical leg kicks, better angles, but Jason Lambert is a threat to anybody at this weight class.
He will have the strength advantage. He will have the wrestling advantage. The former Gladiator heavyweight and light heavyweight champion, WEC light heavyweight champion, 23-6 overall in his mixed martial arts career, so very experienced is the 30-year-old from Carlsbad, California, Jason Lambert.
His trainers Matt Stanzel and Jeff Clark have got him in excellent condition for this fight, and he is ready to rock and roll tonight against Wilson Gouveia.
Our tail of the tape for this light heavyweight matchup. Brazilian-born Wilson Gouveia, 29 years old. Lambert, the American from the West Coast, born in Long Beach, California, is 30. Gouveia is taller. The reach is almost identical. 14.6 stone. They both weighed in at yesterday at the official weigh-ins. Once again with our official introductions, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC light heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record of 9 wins with 4 losses. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 205 pounds, 14.6 stone. Fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, Wilson Gouveia. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record of 23 wins with 6 losses. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 204 pounds, 14.6 stone. Fighting out of Carlsbad, California, Jason the Punisher Lambert. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the octagon is Herb Dean.
Herb Dean, our referee. Wilson Gouveia, Jason Lambert will fight in front of this sold-out Metro Radio Arena crowd. The Brits thrilled to have the UFC back in the UK.
You ready to fight? Ready. Let's do it.
Here we go. Blue trunks for Gouveia, black trunks for Lambert, who is really coming out to stalk his opponent earlier.
Jason would like to get this fight to the ground and do what he likes to call ear holing. He likes to punch guys in their ear on the ground. It's one of his favorite techniques.
Gouveia really being pushed around. At least as far as moved around the octagon.
Jason looks very aggressive, very confident. Like I said, he's riding high off that win of Babalu Brawl. Guillotined by Gouveia. Jason's got to be careful.
And he's out. All right, now you heard his corner. All right, Jay, let's punish.
So this is what Jason likes. He likes to be on top on the ground. He has excellent control in this position. Gouveia does not want to be on his back against Lambert. The fight with Brandon Lee Hinkle was the best example of it. I mean, he punished Brandon Lee Hinkle on the ground.
That stoppage came at the end of the first round against Hinkle. Victory Lambert.
front of his corner.
Push on the head, keep his hips underneath you, and punish.
Push on the head, hips underneath you, and punish.
Gouveia doing a good job of avoiding damage so far. He's got his knee in between him and Lambert. Been utilizing that knee to just keep Lambert from punishing down on him. Holding on to the arms. When the arms are free, tries to control the posture. Well trained. Good wrist control.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, as you mentioned, Joe. So he's worked from this position all his life. Lambert looking to posture up, just pushes him aside.
It really is an art form, Mike, in avoiding damage from the guard position. And, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts are black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There's a big difference between that and a guy punching you in that position. And you have to relearn a lot of things that come as second nature.
Big shots, Jake.
Close guard now. Fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds.
That elbow.
Heavy-handed.
Lambert's got some punches. You know, and in this position, as much as you defend, you're constantly, all he has to do is get through one time. You can defend 99 times and not defend that one punch, and then you're in big trouble. Oh!
Pushed aside. Now let's see what Gouveia can do.
Gouveia back to his feet. Knee to the body by Lambert.
Uppercut.
Again, Lambert just on him. Lambert is relentless. And again, Gouveia tries with that guillotine, but it takes him to his back again. And it's not good because Lambert's out of that real quick. And he's on top in the same spot, but now he's in half guard. Gouveia's got that knee in between him, but Gouveia's taking those shots.
Lambert had won 8 straight fights prior to the loss to Rashad. His only loss inside the octagon. Heavyweights take center stage. Frank Mir, Brock Lesnar, Mandalay Bay Event Center, Las Vegas. Tickets available. Log on to UFC.com.
Oh, triangle! He threw up a triangle. Lambert's got to be careful here. If Gouveia can get that foot underneath his knee, Lambert's in big trouble. You see him reaching down to try to adjust it. Lambert's fine right here. But if Gouveia, oh, he's turning into an omoplata, but Lambert's up high. He's high enough that he can pop that arm out. If he steps over, what Gouveia's going to try to do, though, is use this sweeper to get out.
Nice job by Jason Lambert.
Gouveia's still dangerous. If Gouveia had gotten to a position where he could cinch that foot underneath the knee, Lambert would have been in big trouble there. You hear his corner, Jason's corner yelling out, short hammer fist. Jason is so confident now coming off that knockout win over Babalu. You can just see it in his performance. You see it in his eyes.
It's almost, Joe, I mean, you could simply say it's a career-changing knockout.
Yeah, it is, Mike. And, you know, fighters, like we said in the Kendall Grove fight, Jorge Rivera fight, excuse me, they live and die in their own minds. And when a fighter believes that he's a victor, he believes he's going to come in and dominate a fight like, obviously, Jason does, it reflects in his performance.
30 seconds remains in the round.
Gouveia is doing a good job of avoiding damage, but not a good job of keeping the fight in a good position. You know, he keeps winding up on his back, which is not good, but once he's in that spot, he hasn't taken too many vicious shots. He got nailed right there.
Yeah, Lambert is bloodied up a little bit on his nose, Joe.
Good posture. Good control of the posture here by Gouveia. He's realizing that he can't let Lambert swing wild like that, so he's got his hands clasped together.
And a good start for Jason Lambert.
Excellent round for Lambert. Now here's some ground and pound from the Punisher. Just relentless in this fight. Now here's where he almost got in trouble. He caught in this partial, like a three-quarter triangle, and Jason Lambert slams him down, but Gouveia transitions to an omoplata, but again, it's like a three-quarter omoplata, not quite deep enough to have it be effective. Good job by Lambert in defending, but Gouveia showing that he's always reaching for something. There you see in front of Jason Lambert is Marcus Conan Silveira, old school from Extreme Fighting days.
Fill him up from here. Fill him up. There we go. Nice job. Perfect.
Okay. Come on. You got that. Let's go. Come on, come on. Get the chair out of there. Get the chair out of there. Come on, it's time to get up. What are we looking for, the mouthpiece?
Looks like they've lost the mouthpiece. Wilson Gouveia can't find his mouthpiece.
Oh, wow.
No mouthpiece.
That is ridiculous. That is unbelievable.
This might be like not a great question, Joe, but wouldn't you have
There
a
you
backup?
go.
There
Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
well,
there it is.
You know, you just don't ever expect to lose a mouthpiece in a 2-foot square area.
It's a skill like anything else.
Right.
Second
Not a good
round,
sign.
mouthpiece in begins.
First time for everything, Mike.
Absolutely. That's why you've got to watch
Body
every
kick by
UFC.
Lambert. And again, Lambert just looks very confident. And Gouveia is feeling that pressure. Good right hand by Gouveia.
Gouveia going to try, obviously, to avoid Lambert taking him down again.
You know, I've never seen anybody manhandle Wilson Gouveia like this. His fight with Keith Jardine was a real tough fight, you know, and a war of attrition that he eventually wound up losing a decision. But Lambert is just rolling over him here.
Kind of throwing him around.
Yeah, it's just real shocking. And he looked, oh,
down
right when we
goes
said
Jason
that! Unbelievable!
And it is all over!
Right when we said that, Wilson Gouveia shows us what's up.
And it was a left hook.
Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere.
Same punch that Lambert used to beat Babalu.
He was getting ragdolled. He was getting tossed around. Jason Lambert, though, left his hands down. And Wilson Gouveia caught him on the chin. Look at this. Watch this left hook. Bang! On the button. And it was just a matter of Jason Lambert being reckless and Wilson Gouveia landing it right on the button. Wow! What a turnaround! It just shows you in this sport anything can happen at any given moment with those little gloves in wild exchanges. Man, what a turnaround. Very, very disappointed Jason Lambert. I mean, that's a learning experience for him. He had that fight in the bag, it seemed like.
And he doesn't know what happened because you hear him talking to his guys.
No
You're kidding
idea.
me. You're kidding me. Disappointment indeed. Bruce Buffer has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 37 seconds of round number 2. Declaring the winner by knockout, Wilson
The fight was all Lambert until the left hook connected. Winner by knockout, Wilson Gouveia. Here's Joe.
All right, I'm here with Wilson Gouveia. Wilson, it was a tough first round for you, and it looked like you were losing the second round. Out of nowhere, you connect with that big left hook and put it all away.
You know, Jason is a really tough opponent. I was expecting him to put pressure in the beginning of the fight, but in the second round I was feeling much better, warm up, and I feel a little rusty for the 10 months layoff.
Did you see an opening? Take a look at the big screen. Did you see an opening where he was dropping his hands, where you saw an opening for this punch?
We trained, me and my coach, Wally Mohammed. He's a 5-time world champion Muay Thai, so I trained a lot in the counter punch. I was expecting to exchange a little bit. So you see that boom, bye-bye. Woo. Bye.
Bye indeed. Wilson, congratulations. Dramatic finish. Congratulations on your victory. Wilson Gouveia, ladies and gentlemen.
Left hook, bye-bye. Hello, victory for Wilson Gouveia. He finishes the fight 37 seconds into the second round.
Here's what's coming up inside the Octagon. Tonight, we're in the UK, Newcastle, England. But 4 nights from now, it's right back to Las Vegas. Wednesday, January 23rd, from the Pearl at the Palms, it's UFC Fight Night Live on Spike. Our main event will feature former Ultimate Fighter competitors Mike Quick Swick, who makes his welterweight debut against the always tough Josh Berkman. Also on the card, the French-Canadian Patrick the Predator Cote will take on hard-hitting Drew McFedries. That's Wednesday, January 23rd, UFC Fight Night Live on Spike at 9 p.m. Then on Super Saturday, February 2nd, from the Mandalay Bay Event Center in Las Vegas, it's UFC 81 Breaking Point. Former UFC heavyweight champion Tim the Maniac Sylvia will battle former Pride champion Antonio Minotauro Nogueira for the UFC Interim Heavyweight Championship. Also on the card, former UFC heavyweight champion Frank Mir faces off against former WWE superstar Brock Lesnar, who makes his UFC debut. Tickets are still available from the Mandalay Bay box office, Ticketmaster.com, and UFC.com. UFC 81, Breaking Point, Saturday, February 2nd, live on pay-per-view. Then on Saturday, March 1st, the UFC returns to Columbus, Ohio, and the Nationwide Arena for UFC 82, Pride of a Champion. UFC middleweight champion Anderson Spider Silva clashes with Pride champion Dan Henderson to unify the titles and finally answer the question of who is the best middleweight fighter on the planet. Saturday, March 1st from Nationwide Arena in Columbus, it's UFC 82. Tickets are still available at the Nationwide box office, Ticketmaster.com, and UFC.com. And that's what's coming up inside the Octagon. Mike Goldberg, Joe Rogan, 2 fights down, lots to go. Welterweights now. The Irish hand grenade, Marcus Davis, literally exploded in 07. Now this Mark Delagrati trained fighter has his sights set on a title shot as he faces Jess Liaudon. In 2006 and 2007, there have been few welterweights as successful as Jess Liaudon and Marcus Davis. Tonight, one fighter's unbeaten streak will be broken, while the victor will move one step closer to a UFC title shot.
We all know he's not Irish, you know, his mom is Welsh, his dad is Scottish, and he's born in America. So a lot of people buy the old fake Irish things, but the real UK fan know that he's not. He's just a UK guy versus an American guy.
Jess has been out there and he's been saying things with that nickname, the Joker, talking a lot of smack. I haven't. The one thing I've said is that I was gonna punch a hole right through his head.
A lifelong martial artist who has competed in a host of disciplines since the age of 8, Liaudon learned on the job as a pro mixed martial arts fighter, and his early record reflected it. But since hitting his stride in 2006, the London resident has been unstoppable. And if his spectacular UFC wins over Dennis Seaver and Anthony Torres are any indication, the elite at 170 pounds better watch out for the Joker in 2008.
I'm going to stand with him, I'm going to bang with him. If things goes wrong, maybe I might shoot, but that's not going to be my first option. My first option is to knock him out.
Marcus Davis established himself in the United States with big UFC victories over Forrest Petz, Shoney Carter, and Pete Spratt. But in the second half of 2007, Marcus Davis went international with victories over Jason Tan and Paul Taylor right here in the UK. Tonight, he returns to his home away from home to face London's own Jess Liaudon.
I'm gonna crush him, and I'm gonna crush him under a lot of pressure.
You know, Joe, pretty interesting, everything that transpired working up to this matchup. Jess Liaudon, the Frenchman who has lived for 8 years in London, had a lot of things to say about Marcus Davis, including calling him a fake Irishman. But then when we hit the press conference the other day, Liaudon said, hey, I didn't mean it. He tried to downplay it. He said, I respect Davis. I want to be where he is. Talking to Marcus Davis about it, he didn't buy it. He still expects to fight the man who called him a fake Irishman, and Davis is angry.
Well, that's always been a part of the sport, getting into people's heads, trying to get people emotional, and Jess Liaudon is very good at it. He's also very good at fighting, fortunately for him. This has all the makings of a great fight, Mike. Liaudon has been training with Team Quest down in Temecula with Dan Henderson and Sokaju and all the people that Ryan Parsons has put together down there, and he's well trained for this fight. He's in great shape. He's a very talented striker of his own, but Marcus Davis is a very good boxer and fantastic hands. And Jess Liaudon, as he alluded to earlier, if the fight is not going his way standing, he looks to shoot and take this fight to the ground.
This is a very highly anticipated matchup here in the UK, here in Newcastle, because, of course, Liaudon lives in London. He's popular here, over the pond, if you will. And for Marcus Davis, this is his 3rd straight fight inside the United Kingdom.
Yeah, it is. And, Marcus Davis loves fighting over here. This is a real interesting scenario. These two guys match up very well, and we've had two very exciting fights early. I think this is going to be another one just like the first two.
Leodon, very impressive with victories over Dennis Seaver in Manchester, Anthony Torres in London. So they have been on the same card before. That was UFC 75. Now they will share the same octagon.
Leodon throws some really awkward stuff at people. Likes to throw spinning back kicks, wheel kicks, spinning back fists. He throws some wild stuff that if you're not prepared for it can catch you.
The Frenchman has no shortage of confidence and expects to walk away the victor tonight. His grandfather, a Welshman, as it said in the local papers, who married a Scottish lassie. Marcus Davis, the first trainer of Tim Sylvia, born and raised in Maine, fighting out of Bangor, spends a lot of time in Boston at Team Sityodtong. He is a man who has been considered lately as the bonus man, because every time he's come in, he's had knockout of the night, fight of the night, walks away with a little extra in his pocket.
Oh, Marcus Davis comes to bang, comes out to House of Pain. Everlast, the lead singer of House of Pain, huge MMA fan. Shout out to Everlast. Marcus Davis got vicious power in his punches. He's got an unorthodox southpaw stance, and he throws a vicious right hook that landed on Jason Tan and put him to sleep. Marcus Davis is a tough guy. He's learned a lot in this mixed martial arts game. Started off really as a professional boxer, but has really emerged to become a true mixed martial arts fighter. And we really saw that in his fight with Paul Taylor. Hurt very badly in that fight by a head kick. Got ground and pounded on the ground, but managed to pull off a badass armbar out of nowhere. You know, reversed it, got Taylor on his back, and pulled this sweet armbar in the reversal. It was really, really a beautiful display of how far Marcus Davis has come.
Davis on a 10-fight win streak. And I know you're from Boston, but I think I heard you call him Marcus a couple of times.
Nah, I never said that.
A little bit. It just snuck out a little bit.
Marcus Davis. I got rid of that accent when I heard myself talk once on tape. Like I sound like a retard. What's wrong with me?
Marcus Davis, the Irish hand grenade.
Marcus has got that Maine accent, which is even crazier.
Absolutely. His 56-year-old mother, Melinda McKinnon Davis, legendary in her own right. She actually used to arm wrestle with everybody in the neighborhood. Nobody could beat her. I asked Marcus, did you finally beat her? He said, yeah, but it's not. You don't really brag about beating your mom in arm wrestling.
It's a little neighborhood.
Yeah, a very little neighborhood. Marcus Davis, Jess Leodon, set for a welterweight showcase. Davis overcame being tentative, no longer, as you said, a one-trick pony, a student of the game.
Yeah, he's really developed a lot since his days on The Ultimate Fighter.
And he takes a lot of pride in that development. Our tale of the tape for this welterweight matchup. Davis, the American, 34 years old. Leodon, born in France. He is 34 as well. Leodon with a slight reach advantage, both weighed in at 12.1 stone. Once again with our official introductions, the veteran voice of the Octagon, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist, holding a professional record of 12 wins with 8 losses. Standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 170 pounds, 12.1 stone. Fighting out of London, England, Jess the Joker Leodon. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. A mixed martial artist holding a professional record of 18 wins with 4 losses. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 169 pounds, 12.1 stone. Fighting out of Bangor, Maine, the Irish hand grenade, Marcus Davis. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of this contest is Mario Yamasaki.
Davis loves fighting overseas, and now he will fight a local favorite, Jess Leodon. Leodon and Davis. Mario Yamasaki, our referee.
You ready? Let's do this!
All right, the war of words is over. Now they're going to throw. Southpaw Marcus Davis.
Leodon loves to throw kicks.
Davis's hands are explosive, very good technical striker, as you talked about, Joe, with his fine boxing background.
Leodon, you can see it in his stance and the distance that he likes to keep. He really wants to throw kicks at Marcus Davis.
If the takedown attempt comes, Davis has really worked on his sprawl and his takedown, the takedown defense, pardon me, if the takedown attempt comes from Leodon. Good inside leg kicks.
Marcus is going to have to close the distance here. He's in Leodon's area right now.
And he did.
And he eats a kick coming in, though.
Oh, another one, catching him in the same spot. Good kicks by Leodon early. On that lead right leg, high kick, no. Ah, there's a good body shot. You heard the corner yell, Marcus, when he misses, you come in on.
Oh, that's it! That's a wrap!
And it is all over!
Stiffened up, out cold.
Are you kidding me? Marcus, when he misses, you come in on him. He did. Fight is over.
Marcus Davis has some power. Wow. You know, I had talked to some people that saw Marcus working out. Unbelievable punch. I talked to some people that saw Marcus working out a couple days before this fight, hitting the pads, and they were just talking about the devastating power that Marcus has. And you just saw it right there. Look at this right here. He catches him with that one punch. One punch and he's already stiff. Let's look at that from another angle. Right when Jess Leodon is coming and throwing that kick, bang. He hits him with the left. Leodon falls. Marcus is on top of him, and Leodon stiffens up. Let's look at it again. The left right below the ear, and then the right hand put him out.
Joey really kind of got him right in the neck.
Well, it caught him like right at the point, right where the ear and the jaw meet, and that's a bad spot. That is the button. Marcus Davis.
Well, early on, the bonus man may be on his way to another bonus for knockout of the night.
Mark De La Gratia has got to be happy with that.
He has not only broken into the top 10, he has catapulted himself up, knocking out Leodon. Bruce Buffer with the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mario Yamasaki has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 4 seconds in the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout, the Irish hand grenade, Marcus Davis.
St. Pierre, Sarah Fitch, Parisian, Koscheck, Alves, Diego, watch out!
Wow, that's all I have to say about that performance. Wow, Marcus Davis, you came into this fight mad. I think in the future, it might be a good idea for people not to piss you off before the fight.
Yeah, I was pissed, man. I gotta say, I was pissed. I said I was gonna try to punch a hole through his face. I look over, Loudon's okay. I respect that man, he's a tough guy. I have never been this nervous for a fight as I was for Jess Loudon. Man, and I hope I'm saying his name right, but I was nervous, but I'll tell you right now, Mark De La Gratia, once again, the man behind the controls. I feel like I'm this remote control car out here, and he's telling me what to do, and it's just this awesome thing we got going. Mark De La Gratia said, you kick, you can kick, why don't you ever kick? Throw a kick in this fight. You throw that kick, it'll set up your hands. Nobody knows I can kick, and I told everybody, I'm gonna surprise you. I'm gonna do something that people don't know. Caught him with that body kick, set me up for that big shot after.
Take a look at the big screen and talk us through the car on the track, as it were.
Okay, here we are. Yeah, I caught him right behind the ear, and then I tried to catch him with a hook. It's a combination that we worked all the time. If he was gonna step in, we were looking to catch him with a lead left hand and come back with a right hook. It's a boxing trick anyways, right there. Then I jumped on him, Jason Tan style, and finished him off.
Marcus Davis improved every time we see you. You look better.
Hey, I want to thank the UFC, everybody for doing this and letting me fight. Thank you, UK fans, man. You guys have been awesome. And no, I love this place. I want to buy a house here, man. That's how bad. I'm coming back. I want to thank Team Irish, Team Stitch Your Tongue, my boy George Gurgel, who is out in Ohio, man. I love all you guys. And Joe Cav, the greatest manager on this planet. I love you. Thank you for letting me stay with you to train. Monica, Duncan, Emma, and Alexis. I'm coming home, babies. Coming home a winner again. Daddy loves you.
The ever-improving Marcus Davis, ladies and gentlemen.
Father of 4, winner of 11 straight fights. Davis scores a devastating knockout win here tonight.
I want to say, Coach.
UFC 80 Rapid Fire is being brought to you by UFC Mobile. Check out the new ringtones, wallpapers, videos, and the latest news from the UFC on your mobile phone by logging on to UFC.mobi. And by UFC Fantasy. Do you think you know which fighter has the right stuff to win? Put your knowledge to the test by going to UFC.com and playing UFC Fantasy. Later tonight, it is our main event of the evening as BJ, the Prodigy Penn, faces Joe Daddy Stevenson for the UFC Lightweight Championship. BJ Penn coming off an impressive win over his arch-rival Jens Pulver. And remember Penn, a former welterweight champion. Joe Stevenson is 4-0 since moving down to the lightweight division inside the octagon. And coming up, it's the heavyweight collision between Gabriel Napao Gonzaga, the man who recently fought for the UFC heavyweight title, and the longtime jiu-jitsu coach of Mirko Cro Cop, Fabricio Verdum. That heavyweight collision still ahead tonight from Metro Radio Arena in Newcastle, England. And then in just a couple of nights, we're back in Las Vegas for UFC Fight Night.
It's all the skill of the UFC on one night of live fights. UFC Fight Night Live, featuring Patrick Cote, Drew McFedries, and Thiago Tavares. Plus, in his welterweight debut, Mike Quick Swick brings all his knockout power to bear against Josh Burtman. It's the most exciting combat sport in the world, and it's live and free on Spike. UFC Fight Night Live, Wednesday, January 23rd at 9 on Spike.
Metro Radio Arena, Newcastle, England. Trust me when I tell you, this is a fight that the locals are gonna love. This is the Battle of the Brits as Paul Taylor returns to fight Paul Kelly, who happens to train with the most well-known Brit in mixed martial arts today.
A teammate of Ultimate Fighter winner Michael the Count Bisping, welterweight Paul Kelly comes to the UFC with an unbeaten record and a stellar reputation as one of the most exciting young fighters in the UK today.
This is the Premier League of fighting. Every fighter wants to be here, and now I'm here. I'm not going to let it be a one-night thing. As soon as the referee says fight, I'm coming out and you're going to have to kill me to drag me out. We meet in the middle like two bulls and kill each other.
An energetic dervish who lives up to his nickname Relentless, Paul Taylor made quite an impression on UFC fans in 2007 with two exciting fights that left fans demanding more of the Walsall native. Taylor burst into the octagon at UFC 70 with a decisive third-round TKO of tough Brazilian Edilberto Crocata, and though he fell short in his UFC 75 bout against Marcus Davis, that hellacious welterweight war earned Fight of the Night honors. Tonight, Taylor looks to spoil the UFC debut of fellow Brit Paul Kelly in what is shaping up to be another classic.
Paul Kelly knows he's in a fight from the off. I'm going to come out, he's going to start banging hard. I need the crowd something to cheer about. He's going to change his game plan after about 30 seconds.
Oh, someone's coming out on a stretcher. Touch wood, it's not me.
Coming up next, Paul Kelly makes his UFC debut against relentless Paul Taylor.
There's Michael Bisping walking in with his teammate as the Wolf Slayer, Paul Kelly, a welterweight, making his UFC debut, as we mentioned. He is a very rough fighter. He's kind of a brawler, and you heard during the feature that he really wants to come and just kind of bust through whatever stands in his way.
Well, his hero is UFC light heavyweight Vanderlei Silva, and he loves that style of fighting. Puts it all on the table, just like him, he says. So I would love to see that style of fighting in every weight class. And if, Paul Kelly wants to be the welterweight version of Vanderlei Silva, I would love to see it. Training with Michael Bisping, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better teammate, a better guy with more octagon and mixed martial arts experience here in England. And Looks like a calm and energetic young man, ready for action.
The one thing he needed to avoid, he said kind of in jest, he said he worked for many years for his father in his father's cake shop. And he said, when you're a mixed martial artist, you gotta make weight. That's a bad place to be around a bakery 24/7. So he spends all his time training and preparing for what is tonight the biggest fight of his life.
And you see that tattoo on his back, the Wolf's Lair, that is Michael Bisping's home gym. And he proudly represents that on his skin for life.
He was nearly cast for The Ultimate Fighter 3. Now he will make a statement he hopes that will last, as he said, more than one night. 7-0 in his mixed martial arts career, and he's young too, Joe. He's only 23 years old. And here he is, the Brit, Paul Kelly.
And he's got a very similar style that he's facing tonight in Paul Taylor.
Because we have witnessed it firsthand, has some serious skills, an outstanding kickboxing pedigree, lots of stand-up, quickness, very technical. In fact, he is probably the more technical of the two strikers. Kelly may be the more purely powerful striker.
Well, Paul Taylor looked pretty powerful when he was putting away an Alberto Cocada.
Sure.
And that was just a beatdown in that fight. And then he looked great in the Marcus Davis fight until Marcus Davis got him in an armbar. I mean, he caught Marcus Davis with a beautiful head kick, and it looked like Marcus Davis is in deep, deep trouble. But Marcus is tough as they come. Marcus recovered, and Paul Taylor walked away with some experience. And this is going to be a real interesting test for him. If this kid, Paul Kelly, lives up to the hype, this could be a hell of a fight.
WPKC World Kickboxing Champion in 2000, former Cage Rage middleweight champion in 03. Taylor says the UFC is the holy grail of mixed martial arts, and he is delighted to be part of the show here tonight in Newcastle.
Immediately, these guys walked up to each other, gave each other a hug, show of respect.
Our tale of the tape for this welterweight matchup. Paul Kelly from Liverpool, 5 years younger than Paul Taylor from Walsall. Taylor has a 2-inch reach advantage. He is the taller of the two fighters. Both weighed in at 170 pounds, 12.1 stone. For the official introductions, the better voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a perfect professional record of 7 wins with no losses. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 170 pounds, 12.1 stone. Fighting out of Liverpool, England, Paul Kelly. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist, holding a professional record of 8 wins with 2 losses and 1 draw. Standing 6 feet tall, weighing in at 170 pounds, 12.1 stone. Fighting out of Walsall, England, relentless Paul Taylor. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the Octagon is Herb Dean.
Herb Dean, our referee. The Battle of the Brits in front of Edith, Ariani, and all in attendance here in the sold-out Metro Radio Arena, Newcastle, England. Michael Bisping will be a very interested spectator. His teammate Kelly makes his debut. There's Taylor, there's the tap, here we go. Oh, immediately they come to exchange. Wow, my goodness. Man, the hand speed of Paul Taylor, answered by Paul Kelly.
These guys are just throwing.
Are you kidding me?
This is like a movie, Mike.
What a frenetic pace.
Paul Taylor is landing some big shots on Paul Kelly, though. Kelly, I don't think he likes it. That's why he's got to press up against the cage. couple of those on the chin. And I don't think he liked that exchange.
Wow, what a start!
Incredible. Good knees to the leg by Paul Taylor.
Taylor in yellow trunks, Kelly in the dark trunks.
Okay, let's make it no.
Oh, just missing with the elbow. Now they change positions, Joe.
That's the one.
Now it's Kelly pushing Taylor up against the fence. And good uppercut.
Taylor turns it around.
Taylor with an uppercut as well. Just so fun to watch the explosiveness and the quickness of Taylor. Keeps the hands up nicely.
Taylor is very good technically as well, though, Mike. He's not just a brawler. His inside leg kick, beautiful. His combinations are excellent. Guillotine, drops down for it. Lost control, though.
When Taylor closes and gets into range and delivers, he delivers with a pace that's rarely matched by anyone in the UFC.
His pace is excellent, but when he's doing it, Mike, he's very technical. He's not swinging wild. They're not arm punches. He doesn't have big gaps for counter punches to sneak in through. Very technical striker. I mean, that's one of the reasons why it's so fun to watch him.
I was just going to say the same thing, because his form is virtually perfect.
I mean, young fighters, I mean, if you want to see relentless is a perfect nickname. You want to see a relentless striker, a technical striker. You know, Paul Taylor is very impressive.
Doing a nice job keeping Kelly within his guard as well. Right in front of his teammate, Michael Bisping.
He's also doing a good job of avoiding too much damage in this position. When he's on his back, you know, he's got good control over Paul Kelly's posture, keeps that hand around the neck. He's rolling his hips over for an armbar, but he doesn't have control over anything here. He doesn't have control over any arms. He might be like trying to sweep. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. Now Paul Kelly lands some nice elbows from the top. Over, it keeps rolling over. See how he keeps rolling that leg over? Now it's tough to tell if see how he throws his hips way out to the side, Mike? It's tough to tell if he's trying to isolate an arm or if he's trying to sweep.
He's got his foot up against the fence. Didn't have his toes kind of locked in, so Herb Dean didn't say you're holding on to the fence. Good technique used.
Paul Taylor bleeding a little bit. Both gentlemen bleeding.
These men came to fight.
Yeah, Mike, that might have been one of the best opening exchanges we've ever seen. Kelly doing a good job of keeping Paul Taylor on his back here. And again, he's rolling that hip over. He is trying to isolate an arm. He's trying to isolate that left arm, or the right arm, excuse me.
1 minute remains in round number one. Doing a good job of punishing with the ground and pound.
Good elbows from the bottom by Paul Taylor.
Kelly answered those elbows that Joe talked about.
Ground and pound of his own. Now Kelly's opening up.
Kelly extends and closes. 40 seconds remains in the round.
Good ground and pound by Paul Kelly.
Bisping yelling instructions at his teammate. And there you see Michael Bisping right in the background, Joe. Perfect proximity for his teammate, Paul Kelly. Yelling for some elbows. 15 seconds remains in the first.
Paul Kelly's been doing a real good job of keeping Paul Taylor on his back.
What a first round.
Great first round.
Joe, the first 30 seconds of this fight, as good a start as you and I have ever witnessed sitting here at the broadcast table, I think, in UFC history. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and so technical, Mike, especially Paul Taylor. Look at how tight these combinations are. See how he, even in the middle of this furious exchange, He's not opening wide. He's not throwing arm punches. The hands always come right back to the chin. Very technical. Paul Kelly, on the other hand, wild and loose.
What do you think about his nose?
But, I mean, what heart and what, just desire to mix it up displayed by both of those guys. Great exchange.
He's trying to work the arm bar on the okay when he goes into the guards. He's coming off the gate. Breathe, go string it back, Gum shield in. Play go.
Yeah? Move around and pick him off, Paul. Don't get drawn, don't let him get you. When he goes to try and take you down, fend him off, yeah?
Out. Will the second round open the way the fight did? Liverpool against Walsall here in Newcastle. Second round is underway. Will Taylor open up quickly again?
I mean, this is the style we saw in the Crocata fight. This is the style we saw against Marcus Davis. Taylor, the relentless nickname is perfect for him. Taylor goes to the takedown. Now he's got Kelly on his back.
Kelly kind of grabbed those arms on the way down. Said, if I'm going to end up on my back, I'm going to get in a good position to guard. Now let's see what Taylor can do from top position. Half guard right now.
Taylor's got a very weird way of keeping his legs stretched out like that. He pulled it back in now, but it was a very odd base from the top. His experience is primarily stand-up. See how he does that again, where he's got his right leg stretched out like that? He's primarily a stand-up fighter, but he is improving on the ground. It looks like he's got his back. Oh, he let it go, he slipped off, and now he's on his back. That was a sloppy transition there by Paul Taylor, and that showed his relative inexperience in the ground positioning.
Michael the Count Bisping looking on.
That's very unfortunate because he worked so hard to get Paul Kelly on his back, and then a simple error right there, and he finds himself on his back. Kelly pressing him up against the cage.
Now, Kelly was able to do some damage to Taylor in the first round, Joe, from this position, bloodied him up a bit. Taylor wants to get back up, not this time.
The holes in his ground game are kind of showing here.
And Kelly knew that was a potential coming in.
Well, that's what we saw in the Marcus Davis fight. He had Marcus in all kinds of work. He lost control on the ground.
3 minutes remains in the second round. As good a start to a fight as you and I have had the honor to call. Hasn't been able to pass guard though yet, doing damage inside, but hasn't gotten to a truly dominant position, Joe.
Well, the real problem I see in this position is that Paul Taylor doesn't seem to be able to shake Paul Kelly off at all. Not only that, not even close. Like he's in no danger of being reversed, no danger of getting out of this position. So if that's the case, Paul Kelly's going to be able to keep him in this spot every time he goes to the ground. He's going to be able to eke out a decision.
Well, Kelly post-weigh-in seems to be the much bigger fighter, and he's taking advantage of that advantage.
Saw that cake.
And exactly, well done. 2:10 remains in the second.
Paul Taylor he's going for a Kimura.
He's trying to crank it.
He's got it here.
Can he finish?
But the problem is he doesn't have any control over the legs. See his half guard, it's very loose and sloppy. He doesn't have any control over the body. He's got the arm straightened out, but Kelly's not in any real danger right here. He doesn't have enough strength. Now, full guard. If he could lock his legs
pulled the arm
he
free.
Lost it.
And Bisping reacted nicely.
That, again, we're seeing Paul Taylor's relative inexperience on the ground. His primary concern, once he locked that arm and had it straightened up, should have been established much more control over Paul Kelly's body. Either a full guard or a lockdown on that half guard, not that loose half guard that we saw. And him straining and pushing and doing it with his muscles, that's exactly what you don't want to do. You want it to be technique, and you want to use your whole body, not just straining with your upper body.
Taylor trying to throw some fists from the bottom.
Again, he tries to control that wrist. I mean, that's his go-to move. You can see it. He's had some success with it. He's holding onto that arm again, but see how loose his guard is? Even in the closed guard, there's so much space.
And as you said earlier in this round, Joe, the thing that's most frustrating to Taylor is that he's not able to shake Kelly.
He's rolled it again. He's got his hands locked up.
He's tried to submit him a couple of times, but he can't shake him. He can't get this fight back up to the feet.
Sweep him. Paul Kelly with some bombs from the top here.
Kelly resembling his teammate Michael Bisping in this top position. Under 30 seconds remains in the round. Fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. A big cut open on the forehead of Paul Taylor. That elbow landed big time.
Immediately started gushing blood, Mike. That might be a real problem. That is nasty.
That was an elbow just a moment ago, and that's all it takes, Joe. If you catch it the right way, boom. You just need a little bit of force, a little bit of distance, and he opened him up in a big way.
Herb Dean took a real good look at that cut. The forehead bleeds so bad, Mike. Sometimes a cut that's not even that bad. This looks horrible, you know, when the guy's head is covered with blood. But hopefully the cut man can put a stop to the bleeding here. Let's take a look at what caused it. Here's Paul Kelly's elbow dropping right down. Right there, bang. Oh,
you can see it. What a great look, guys.
It's a big gash, too. It looks to be about 2 inches long at least. Yeah, ooh, that's nasty. Wow, that's nasty. If I was in Paul Taylor's corner, I would say, whatever you do, stay off your ground game. Stop it. No going to the ground. Stand up with this guy. That's the big advantage. Paul Taylor initiated the ground game in that round. He took Paul Kelly down.
Show respect again.
Oh, look at this.
Wow.
Come on. And the crowd responds. And immediately these guys go to war again. Oh!
He buckled him.
Taylor.
He buckled him. And there's the takedown.
Taylor trying really hard for a sweep, but just not enough control. Paul Kelly has much more control on the ground.
Kelly trying to finish it here early in the third. The Brits love their fights, and these two men are great fighters.
Paul Kelly landed some bombs here. His
Taylor's
ability to
opened up
control
again.
Taylor on the ground has been the real story of this fight, Mike.
Yep, and he's opened up again. That didn't take long. And you talked about it. You said he just can't. You said he just can't shake it.
Side control. Now this is even worse. Now Taylor's in some serious trouble.
Going to put that leg, trying to hold the arm down. Can't do it there.
The only thing that's preserving him here is the fact that it's an awkward spot for Kelly because Taylor's so close to the cage. He's got his legs up on the fence, and he can kind of push. But if Taylor can, if Kelly can continue to turn, yeah, there he does. And keep Kelly on his, Taylor on his back here. Oh.
Big elbow again, boom.
And then to that same spot. And Taylor did a good job right there of getting back to half guard at least. Now he's got full guard. Good body shots by Kelly from the top.
This fight has gone for Paul Kelly pretty much according to plan.
The beginning seconds were pretty tough on him.
They were, yeah.
The kid's tough. And as soon as he goes to the ground, he's just been the better fighter in that position.
And as I said, as he entered the octagon for the first time in his career, he's only 23 years old. And he's with a fine team at the Wolf Slayer. His teammate, Michael Bisping, gonna come down.
Herb Dean standing back up.
To the middleweight division, and then it looks like we got one at 170 from Liverpool that Joe Silva can put into more action. Kick again.
Paul Taylor immediately firing bombs.
That's what he needs to do, as you said, Joe.
And Kelly responding off this cage.
Standing up, Taylor is far from finished with this fight.
He's got to be careful. He doesn't get tripped. Bang.
Again.
Back to his back. Paul Taylor has so much potential, but his weakness is his ground game.
And again, as I mentioned it earlier, just from physical appearance, Kelly, the bigger and more powerful fighter, and he's utilizing that very well, posturing up now. He was going to look to overwhelm Paul Taylor, and he's done exactly that. That was his game plan coming in. 145 remains in the fight.
Yeah, Kelly has utilized some really good ground and pound, and I suspect he's going to walk away with a decision here.
Taylor's only hope may be to get back up and make sure this doesn't go to the judges' scorecards. Those big elbows again. 120 remains in the fight.
Taylor's never given up. He keeps trying, but it's a little bit of it's getting kind of futile. He's again trying for that Kimura. That is his main move.
Yeah, he tried for it earlier. And you said he just, without the hooks in, he wasn't able to tweak it enough.
Yeah, and Kelly's very aware of it, and he's having none of it now. Taylor never stops. I mean, he's still throwing, even from his back. Throwing elbows, throwing hammer fists.
Kelly's really kept a nice pace up as well. Big elbow in the second round.
The story of this fight has really been Kelly's ability to keep Taylor on his back.
Opened up the gash on the forehead of Paul Taylor.
Taylor's got to do something drastic. 15 seconds left.
Paul Kelly kind of defines octagon control. The locals love it here in Newcastle. What a fight. What a fight.
Great brawl. Everyone's on their feet here.
Standing ovation for Paul Kelly, Michael Bisping's teammate, and Paul Taylor.
The Brits love a good fight.
Yeah, they just saw one.
Let's take a look at some of the elbows here. Now this is the beginning. This is the one that started it all off. This is in the first round.
We got air horns and everything.
Hey, go on, lad.
And Taylor showed great spirit as he, when they got to the feet, still tried to finish this fight in the third round. Bruce Buffer gathering the judges' scorecards. They will render the decision. It should go the way of Paul Kelly. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges scored this contest 30-27. Declaring the winner by unanimous decision, Paul Kelly.
A great way to debut in the UFC for Paul Kelly. He said this was not going to be a one-night thing, and he is right.
All right, I'm here with Paul Kelly. Paul Kelly, that's what you got to call a proper British brawl. What do you think about that?
No, that special. Me and him battled it out. I was fucking dead. I knew the deciding factor in this was his fitness, so I trained hard for it. I'm just so glad to be here.
Fantastic fight, and it seemed like the story of the fight was your ability to keep Paul on his back.
Well, everyone knows about his striking and his kicks. I can strike myself, that was the plan, but, we kept on punching each other like that, someone was getting knocked out. So.
All right, Paul, take a look at the big screen and talk us through some of the action here. Tell us what was going on in your head here.
This is what 2 Brits happen when they both get at it, man.
Should get more British fighting each other. Let it all hang out.
Exhausted, It was a tough fight for you. It was a fantastic fight, a great debut in the UFC.
And I thank all my coaches, Dave Jackson, Mario Sucata, Tony Quigley, all my teammates at the Wolseley, especially Lee Gwynn, my strength and conditioning coach. Without him, I wouldn't have been here.
Well, congratulations on your successful UFC debut. Paul Kelly, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I'm here with Paul Taylor. Paul, I gotta tell you, the opening 30 seconds of that fight might have been one of the most exciting opening 30 seconds in UFC history.
Yeah, it was a great exchange. I opened up. I wasn't expecting Paul to try to me. He did what he said he was going to do. Stood and tried it. Fair play to him.
Now, it seemed like, as I said with Paul Kelly, that the story of the fight was his ability to keep you on your back. Do you agree with that?
Definitely. I mean, I know that's what he's looking to do. He's looking to get me, pin me on my back. He proved more elusive from the submissions than I thought he was going to. His ground and pound was very good. It was excellent.
Well, Paul, it's always exciting to see you fight. I'm sure the fans appreciate it. A fantastic performance, a great fight, very exciting, and we look forward to seeing you again. Paul Taylor, ladies and gentlemen.
Paul Kelly and Paul Taylor, the Brits. Wow, what a battle. Kelly wins by unanimous decision.
Here's what's coming up inside the Octagon. Tonight, we're in the UK, Newcastle, England. But 4 nights from now, it's right back to Las Vegas. Wednesday, January 23rd, from the Pearl at the Palms, it's UFC Fight Night Live on Spike. Our main event will feature former Ultimate Fighter competitors Mike Quick Swick, who makes his welterweight debut against the always tough Josh Berkman. Also on the card, the French-Canadian Patrick the Predator Cote will take on hard-hitting Drew McFedries. That's Wednesday, January 23rd, UFC Fight Night Live on Spike at 9 p.m. Then on Super Saturday, February 2nd, from the Mandalay Bay Event Center in Las Vegas, it's UFC 81 Breaking Point. Former UFC heavyweight champion Tim the Maniac Sylvia will battle former Pride champion Antonio Minotauro Nogueira for the UFC Interim Heavyweight Championship. Also on the card, former UFC heavyweight champion Frank Mir faces off against former WWE superstar Brock Lesnar, who makes his UFC debut. Tickets are still available from the Mandalay Bay box office, Ticketmaster.com, and UFC.com. UFC 81 Breaking Point, Saturday, February 2nd, live on pay-per-view. Then on Saturday, March 1st, the UFC returns to Columbus, Ohio, and the Nationwide Arena for UFC 82, Pride of a Champion. UFC middleweight champion Anderson Spider Silva clashes with Pride champion Dan Henderson to unify the titles and finally answer the question of who is the best middleweight fighter on the planet. Saturday, March 1st from Nationwide Arena in Columbus, it's UFC 82. Tickets are still available at the Nationwide box office, Ticketmaster.com, and UFC.com. And that's what's coming up inside the Octagon.
What a great set of fights so far tonight. And now it's time for the heavyweights.
So our main event is coming up
between Gabriel Gonzaga and Fabricio Verdum. Mike Goldberg, Joe Rogan, I'll tell you what, Joe, you look at Gabriel Gonzaga, we know he fought for the title. He was not able to capture the belt. Now, that being said, he is still one of the elite heavyweights in the world today.
Well, before the fight with Randy Couture, he was thought to be top 2 or 3 in the world, you know, right up there with Fedor and Randy. And I still believe that's the case. I still believe he's got some of the most, like, one of the best skill sets of any heavyweight. He's got devastating strikes. I mean, to be able to knock out Mirko Krokop like that with that head kick, he's a dense, powerful, thick man, and he's got world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, world-class Abu Dhabi champion, Mundial champion. So it's like, putting it all together in the Octagon, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before this guy, in my opinion, rises to be one of the cream of the crop.
Well, Joe, speaking of world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that aptly describes Fabricio Verdum, who, of course, was Mirko Krokop's Jiu-Jitsu coach for a long time. But he, in his own right, is a heck of a fighter.
I'd say I'd give a stand-up advantage to Fabricio Verdum, but grappling-wise, it's very close. The key to this fight is going to be for Verdum. He's got to get this fight to the ground. He has an advantage. The advantage that Verdum has is he's already beaten Gabriel Gonzaga. It was early in Gonzaga's career, but he beat him, and he beat him with a TKO. He got on top of him, and he pounded out a victory. Now, Gonzaga, I'm sure, wants to avenge that fight. He's a very proud man, and he believes that after the Randy Couture fight, he learned a lot from that fight. He believes he's even better. Now, Gabriel Gonzaga is really a freak of nature. When you stand next to that guy, like when he walked on the podium, when he's getting weighed in, you feel his bones like stomping on the ground. You're like, oh, and you can see it in like the kind of power that the guy delivers when he strikes. Fabricio Verdum is not as powerful a fighter, but he's a very, very technical jiu-jitsu fighter, and he's learned a lot about striking from Mirko Krokop, enough at least to probably try to avoid the strikes of Gabriel Gonzaga.
Well, as Joe talked about, they meet once again. Verdum was the victor in the first matchup years ago in Brazil. Will it be Gonzaga who walks away a winner tonight?